You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first edition of Coffee with Graeme for 2022. I am your host, Graeme Forsyth. It's a wonderful Tuesday morning. I'm not too sure how cold it is outside, to be honest, because I have not stepped foot outside today. I assume it's pretty cold. Gonna check the temperature in just a bit here, but yeah, great to be back here for 2022, starting Coffee with Graeme off with a bang here in the new year. Gonna tell you guys about our sponsors sponsoring today's edition of the show. This edition of Coffee with Graeme is brought to you by TOVI Hockey, Caisse Financial Group, Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, Evolve Green, and AETi. So, talking about the guests who will be joining this show today, and when I say guests, I mean plural. I might not be pronouncing that word too correctly there with the plural sense of it. But yeah, we're going to have three people joining today's show. Cody Wall is going to be joining the show first here on today's episode on Off the Wall with Cody to talk about the past weekend of games that were canceled in the MFHL, most notably the game that we were supposed to cover here on ASTV Productions on Sunday between the Pembina Valley Hawks and the Winnipeg Ice. That game getting canceled due to COVID-19 protocols, as well as the Winnipeg Avros and Eastman Selects game as well this past weekend getting canceled to COVID-19 protocols. Cody's going to come on the show today to talk about maybe we could be seeing the potential of more cancellations in the MFHL with the rising numbers of COVID-19 cases here in Manitoba and some other things as well. So without further ado, let's roll the intro of Coffee with Graeme here on ASTV Productions for the first time in 2022. Joining me first here on the show, Cody Wall on his segment, Off the Wall with Cody on Coffee with Graeme. Enjoy, everybody. Joining me now on Off the Wall with Cody is Cody Wall for the first time here in 2022. Cody, how are you? Haven't seen you for a while, man. It's been about 2 weeks since the last time we've talked. I'm not sure if I'm doing my math well there, but how's your Christmas been? Well, how was your Christmas and the new year you spent with your family? How you doing, man?
It's good. Thanks for having me on today, Graeme. Nice to get back to the norm and talking to you here. It has been a bit since we last talked, a couple of weeks, but yeah, Christmas was good. New Year's was a little uneventful, kind of stayed in at home and just hung out around here, but had a couple of friends over, but nothing too exciting.
Yeah, you talk about New Year's being uneventful. I'm in the same boat with you there, Cody. We actually weren't able to have any people over in the house because we were having some possible COVID scares, but luckily everyone in my family has tested negative so far. That has been tested. I haven't been tested yet, which is awesome because I saw my sister do it and I kind of gagged because of what was going down there with the testing. I'm not sure how people are able to do it, but yeah, glad to hear that you had a Merry Christmas and an uneventful New Year, but a good one as well. Any big Christmas gifts that you got this year? A Christmas gift that you were excited that you opened?
Yeah, I actually got a new a webcam to kind of enhance this off the wall experience. I haven't had the chance to set it up yet, as well as I got a new microphone for this recording as well, which is another thing. Just once I have time, I'm gonna set up in the office there, trying to make this experience a little bit better as we continue on in the new year.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. New webcam, a new mic as well. Definitely going to enhance the off-the-wall experience. Maybe the webcam will be so good that we'll see Cody actually going off the wall, bouncing off the walls here in 2022. But I digress. Let's talk about, some news that I don't ever want to talk about, but unfortunately we have to talk about it today because the one game we were supposed to be seeing on the network this past weekend between the Winnipeg Ice and Pembina Valley Hawks was postponed due to COVID protocol. It was the second game canceled due to COVID protocol so far here in 2022. So looking at it, your thoughts when you found out this game was canceled this past weekend on Sunday?
Yeah, it definitely was unfortunate. Spent the short week at work getting ready for this upcoming game that we were supposed to cover on Sunday. And, it was a little disappointing. Was excited to get back to calling some hockey with you and Seth and joining Glenn back in Morden. But unfortunately, due to the rising kind of COVID situation that's been going on recently, had to cancel the game the other day.
Yeah, and I haven't honestly read up too much about COVID because it's honestly depressing reading the cases, especially now the number of cases and just seeing these games get canceled as well. But looking at it, already 2 games canceled. We're barely into 2022. Do you feel like with the rise in number of cases that we've been seeing here in Manitoba as of late could, maybe have a trickle down effect? I'm not sure if that's the right term, but could have an effect on more games heading forward here in 2022 to start things off here in the new year.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, every day there's new information coming out in regards to COVID, especially in these last 2-3 weeks. And unfortunately, it could look like cancellations of games won't be something that it'll be something I think that we might see some more times throughout this year, probably more frequently than we had seen, the start of the season in that 2021. I know we had a couple of games where back in, I believe it was November, in the Pilot-Mound showcase, the Edge U17 team had to pull out of the showcase. Other than that, really, that was kind of our first glimpse into COVID taking a bite out of our season here, other than last week. But I do think we might see some more cancellations going forward. Hopefully, we do still get to see some games going forward. Just maybe have to postpone and reschedule and kind of do a little bit more finagling with the schedule, but hopefully we still are able to cover the teams that we are signed on with to cover.
Yeah, and looking at it, the 2 games that got canceled was, of course, the game we were supposed to be covering and seeing here on the network on Sunday was the Pembina Valley Hawks and Winnipeg Ice. And then the other game that was postponed was the Eastman Selects and Winnipeg Avros game. And the game that was able to go was the Westman Wildcats and the Yellowhead Chiefs. So Westman and Yellowhead obviously not being from Winnipeg. There's only 2 Winnipeg teams in this league. And looking at the numbers right now, just pulling it up, Winnipeg by by far has the most cases by health region in Manitoba right now. As of December 30th, this is definitely old, but 1,624 cases compared to the next highest, which is in the Prairie Mountain Health region with 336. So looking at it, do you feel that we're going to see maybe more games getting canceled due to, the games that are involving the Winnipeg teams, as opposed to maybe if the Westman Wildcats and, I don't know, Central Plains are taking on each other?
Yeah, we might see a bit of a schedule reshuffle here. Maybe you get some of the Winnipeg teams for the time being, maybe playing games that they maybe have in the pipeline, play their games now, and maybe kind of separate the regions for the time being. And then once the time kind of arises that you can start playing those out of region games, playing those Winnipeg teams, if you're Pembina Valley, save those for a later date, but maybe trying to manipulate the schedule a bit to still get some of these games in.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because by the end of the season, say they're not able to reschedule games in the MFHL, I'd have to ask Brad Kirk about the situation exactly, because he'd have the rundown on all of this, more of the inside knowledge with him being the president of the league. But you could see Winnipeg teams maybe at the end of the year, I'm just taking a shot out of the dark here, playing less games than the rest of the teams in the league once the regular season concludes. Could we potentially be seeing, if we do see playoffs in the league this year, fingers crossed that of course we do see playoffs, that would be just devastating if we didn't see that this year in the MFHL with how good the teams are in the league. But could we be seeing them determining placements in the standings at the end of the season going based off of points percentage rather than total points?
Yeah, definitely points percentage is something that's often considered, especially recently with the worry of COVID being around. I know NHL and all the trickle down for other leagues have talked about, doing points percentage or trying to find different methods of, where you don't have the same amount of games throughout the whole league, trying to find a reasonable way. But I do think points percentage does seem like a fairly fair way throughout the whole league, that if Winnipeg teams aren't able to get their full amount of games, not punishing them for having less points, but rather taking into account the points percentage, like you had said, Graeme.
What this could mean for players just being out of not game shape, but not getting that same exposure to games as they were earlier on in the season. If you're the team like the Avros, like the Ice, not being as having as many games as other teams, how that could affect teams like the Winnipeg Avros and Winnipeg Ice if it solely is affecting the Winnipeg teams in the league.
Yeah, you never know how it will affect the teams. Just bringing it back to the other day with the Winnipeg Jets game, a lot of Winnipeg teams here, but with the Winnipeg Jets team, they had a significant time off. And, coming into that game, a lot of the broadcasters were talking about how, maybe Winnipeg would come out dogging it a little bit because having that extra time off opposed to Vegas playing consistent games more often. But, as we've seen, the Jets were able to pull off that win. Something that the other Winnipeg teams will probably want is to kind of rely on that rest that they are getting now, because if they do have games rescheduled, they are going to see a lot more frequency of games going forward to the end of the year if they're going to try making up games. So they'll probably want to, get some rest and really depend on those practices that they do get with the team, and really going to have to put your all into those practices so that you don't get rusty once you do get to game time again.
Yeah, for sure. And, speaking of the Winnipeg Jets, they were able to, come out strong in the second and third period and ended up winning that game in OT. Close call. We ended up blowing a 2-goal lead, but KFC Kyle, explicit word, Connor, scoring a beauty of an OT winner. But Cody, we'll probably continue to monitor this COVID-19 situation, how this pandemic is taking effect on the MFHL, and of course, the other teams that we cover in other leagues as well, if COVID-19 does end up affecting them. But Cody, thanks for coming on your segment for the first time here in 2022 on Coffee with Graeme here on this Tuesday morning. Off the Wall with Cody. We'll see you next week, man. But until then, you stay safe.
Thanks for having me on this week, Graeme, and have a great week.
Cody Wall, Off the Wall with Cody on this January 4th edition of Coffee with Graeme, talking about the cancellation of the Winnipeg Ice and Pembina Valley Hawks game that was supposed to be seen on the network this past Sunday. Well, not past Sunday, 2 days ago on Sunday. And another game canceled, of course, the Winnipeg Avros and Eastman Selects game as well. So hopefully that COVID-19 doesn't cause too much havoc, creating too much chaos in the MFHL schedule, but we'll have to wait and see on what the situation brings. So we're going to take a quick commercial break here. When I come back, I'm going to be talking to Jeff Mitchell, head coach of the St. Vital Junior Vics, on this edition of Coffee with Graeme on AETi Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial break. Welcome back to this edition of Coffee with Graeme on AETi Productions. Cody Wall joined this edition of Off the Wall with Cody. Off the Wall with Cody Wall. Starting off today's edition of the show, talking about the cancellation of the Pembina Valley Hawks and Winnipeg Ice game on Sunday, as well as the cancellation of two games, including that one, as well as the Winnipeg Avros and Eastman Selects game from this past weekend. Joining the show now is going to be Jeff Mitchell, St. Vital Junior Vics head coach in the MMJHL. Jeff, joining the show here on this January 4th episode of Coffee with Graeme. Jeff, how you doing on this Tuesday morning? Thanks for joining me on this edition of the show.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thanks for having me on again. It's always good to get on here and promote our league and as well as our team. And you do a great job, so can't complain about that.
I appreciate that, Jeff. And anything we can do to promote the league is a win-win for everyone, because it's a very talented league this season, especially just looking at the teams that are near the top of the standings. You guys are in fourth place right now, 14-7-2 on the season. Pretty darn good in the last 10 games, 7-1-2. Talk about, what it's been like in the last 10 games for this team, just the strengths we've seen from the St. Vital Junior Vics team.
Yeah, just the last 10 games, or even just maybe the last 2 months, we've kind of we got quite a few young guys in our team here. So about 14 rookies we're sitting at right now. So a lot of it had to do with just really building and finding what kind of identity we had over those first couple months. And then I think now that we've kind of found a way and a style that we want to play, we've been figuring it out a bit. And those last 10 games have put together some wins there, and seeing some good things. We're going to keep building off of it and keep working towards where we want to get to before playoffs here. But things seem to be going in the right direction. So we'll keep working at that, and hopefully we can keep stringing some wins together.
We've talked about identity so many times when you've been on the show about, the identity of the St. Vital Junior Vics. Talking about it now since the last 2 months, since you last joined the show, what can you say the identity of this year's Junior Vics team is?
Yeah, you know what? I think we're similar in the fact that we want to be a hard team to play against. We like to be buggers out there, and we'd like to have a sound D zone that can turn offense into opportunities, right? So if we're doing our job and we're at that, getting after those pucks quick, being physical and just all over the ice pressure, we should be successful. So I like my teams to, or our team to have that kind of mentality. Like I said, with some young guys there, you got to get them bought into that, and we have that buy-in right now, which is great, and we're going to keep building off of that.
Yeah, and you talk about offense. This team, 97 goals for, fourth most in the league at this point. Talking about a notable player in Ben Carpenter, of course, the captain of this year's team, a veteran on this team, 28 points in 23 games played, leads the team in points, of course. Just talking about how his influence on the game and just in the dressing room has helped impact this team, and how his impact has been this season.
Well, Ben's a great leader for us. On and off the ice. He knows what it takes to get to different levels, including he played in the WHL, always played high level AAA growing up. So he's got his background enough to push the guys and gain respect from the younger guys. That helps push our whole team as a whole forward together. Points wise, I know Benny's really motivated, and he has a nose for the net, and he's very passionate about not only his game but our team as well. So that those numbers alone show his passion and what he needs to do on a nightly basis to keep our team motivated as well. So and then just away from those points as well, like he, at the end of the day, he wants to get the 2 points in the championship at the end of the year, and that's important, because if he's on track and he's bought into that, then it's hard not to follow him as a teammate, right? So he's a little spitfire. He's really it's really fun to watch when he's out on the ice.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Awesome that you guys are able to have a captain like this on your team this season. And Ben Carpenter, a guy like you said, has played at high levels, various high levels in his hockey career. Just talking about, the opportunity these young players have gotten on the team. Most notably, Tyler Rubini was second on the team in points with 24 and 23 games. And then a guy like Rylan Netchwaduk with 21 points in 22 games, tied third on the team in points. Just talking about those guys and the other young guys, how they've, come into their own and really stepped up and helped this lineup out this year so far.
Yeah, Rubes and Natch have stepped up quite a bit this year. We kind of projected them to, once they got past their first initial, 10, 15 games of being those younger guys in the league, once you get comfortable and once you get moving a bit, start getting a couple points or a goal here or there. We knew those guys for sure. Those two were going to shoot off into another level, which they have, and they've exceeded that level and they've moved up to another level. So to me, that's just what we want to make sure those guys are doing, who are coming in as young players. And we got like I said, we have 14 rookies right now on our team, and it's been no different for every one of them. They've all had to take that little bit of time there where you need to get used to the league, get used to playing against older, bigger, faster, stronger guys, right? So once you get that leveled out, everyone seems to just calm down just a little bit more, and all of a sudden they have a little bit more time and space to do something, and then they develop their game into a junior hockey player. So we're really happy with our rookie group right now, and those two guys you mentioned have been a good example of that.
Talking about another rookie here, Jeff, it's actually a rookie that I've had a chance to play with before 1 year of my minor hockey career. Brady Jaquette, he's had a lot of opportunity to get in the lineup as the season's gone along. 19 games played, 6 points. A kid that, very good skater, very good hockey IQ, can do a lot of good things out there. Talk about, how his strengths, how his game has allowed him to get spots in the lineup as the season has rolled along.
Well, it's kind of funny. I've coached both of his other brothers, and so I've finally got the third one here. So to be honest, like I didn't know too much about Brady before. I coached his older brother Colby and with the Bruins that one season, as well as we drafted him when I was coaching in Selkirk. So I know Colby quite well and the family, and then coached his little brother in a summer hockey 1 year. But Brady was a great surprise for us. He came in a little bit later Wasn't sure, I think, about playing or not. And he came in and, it was a breath of fresh air for us because, obviously just coaching his older brother, I could figure he would have similar IQ as him. So Brady's been a great player for us. Like you said, he's a great skater. He's a good see it, move it defenseman. Just overall reads, just a smart player. And that's what you want on your back end. And he can anchor down back there as a young guy, as a rookie. He could be a big anchor for us.
Yeah, and you just talk about how he can do these things already at such a good level. Like, he's such a young kid, and he's only going to get better as time goes along here. So going to be exciting to see how his career, progresses if he chooses to stay with the Vics throughout his career. But, looking at it, the man advantage, fourth best in the league so far this year, 21.3% on the power play. Talking about how this man advantage has progressed and stepped up as the season has gone along.
Yeah, we started off hot, kind of lulled off a bit there, just trying to find the right chemistry. Our assistant coach, Paul Caisse, he's the man of the magic that side. So he runs our power play. So he's been working at that for the last couple months here, and we're sitting in a decent spot right now, and obviously want to keep improving on it. And I think we're getting to that point. So we're getting some good looks in now, and that's what we're hoping for. So being sitting at around 21%, and you got to be happy with that, but obviously never satisfied. You want to make sure that when you're going out on those power plays, you're taking advantage of them.
Well, something I feel like you guys got to be satisfied about as well is the penalty kill, second best in the league at 84.5%. Talk about how this PK has been able to be so successful against the teams in the league so far.
I think a big part for the success for our penalty kill is we got team has an opportunity and a job, whether it's at the end of game, last 2 minutes on the power play, on the penalty kill. We got rookies on our penalty kill, and they take onus to that, and they want to be the best in the league. So when you give guys opportunities and jobs, not just the same guys doing the same things, and everyone, like one player playing penalty kill, power play, all these minutes, when you can contribute it around the team and give guys actual jobs to do and opportunities, they run with it. And I think that's where we've been pretty good at evaluating and watching our younger guys and seeing if they're capable of playing in those types of situations. And our guys have stepped up. So our PK right now, it's doing well. We do month by month stats, and right now both our power play and penalty kill each month are getting better. So that's a good sign for us, and we're happy about that. So power play and penalty kill both, we're happy with, but again, we always can get better.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And it's great to know that month by month, these special teams units are getting better and better. Of course, playoffs is going to be here before we know it. So it's going to be good for you guys to continue building on the good stuff that has been happening so far. But talking about the defense, diving into them more in depth here, 78 goals against, fourth least allowed in the league. Just talking about the D-core and the progression that you've seen as a coaching staff this year and the way you guys are playing in the defensive zone.
Yeah, we got a younger D-core. We're only losing one guy this year, Devin Bullock, after the season. But so we're younger, but our guys, like I said, are bought in, and that's the biggest point that we're trying to take away from it. So as long as the guys are bought into our systems and what we're throwing at them, then we can build off of that. So we've had a couple of games against where we let in more goals than we wanted to. So I don't know how much of a reflection that 100% those numbers are for us, but those climb your stats against real quick. But we got to take our responsibility on those games as well. So, but all in all, I feel like we're getting better over the season too. We also take stats on that, whether it's shots against and opportunities against, and where we're giving up those opportunities. So, all those and right now are progressing in the right direction, and that's what we want to see. We're going to keep working on it, and that's a big staple for us, especially coming into the second half here, is working on that D zone and making sure that we're sound.
You mentioned Devin Bullock, as the defenseman that you guys are only going to be losing one. That's going to be the guy, and he's having a great season. Point per game defenseman so far, leads the team in terms of defensemen in points with 20 points in 20 games. Talking about, how his game has come along as his time has gone on in his career in the to the point where he's at now.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of coaching Devin since when I was with the Winnipeg Bruins when we kickstarted the program there. So he came in as a high school player there and didn't really know too much about him. And he was a really good player for us that season. And we had a lot of success that year due to players like him and some other guys on our team as well. So then he had an opportunity in the MJHL, and then he ended up ultimately coming back to us and to play. And he's one of those guys in our league that kind of is a poster child for the players in our league. He's in school. He's got a couple jobs, and he works his butt off to make sure he time manages with me to make sure that he can make all our skates. So that alongside of his play, it just shows you, if he's like that in real life, he's going to put the work and the effort into the on ice side as well. So Devin's been great for us. He's one of our leaders this year, and I know the guys look up to him. And he's got great wheels. He's got a good shot. He can shut down when he needs to, and he can open up and go offensively if he needs to as well. So all around, pretty good player for us here.
Yeah, great to have a player like that, a player that, is so responsible, not only on the ice, but off the ice as well. Like you said, working two jobs and being in school while playing hockey, which is great to hear. Talking about the goaltending for this team, Austin Smith and Dylan Lisk being the goaltenders. Talk about, the progression that you've seen throughout these two goaltenders so far this season.
Yeah, Austin's been with us for a few years here now. His first year, we had Spurtelak and Anderson, so he kind of stayed around and just got his reps in at practices, and he was, out with the team and developing with them. So that was good for him to just get his foot in the door that way. And then the next year we had him as well as Nick Anderson again last year, but obviously the season was shut down and cut short. So I gave Smitty an opportunity here this year to get back at it and get some minutes. So Smitty's been back and he's been with us. He works hard at practices and games, and we're gonna continue with him here. And then as well as Liskey, was a little bit of another surprise for us. He's a Pinawa boy that we have a couple on our team, and they're all seem to be buddies and are okay with driving in together. So he's a good kid. He's a country boy, and it's all good from out there. So he's a young guy for us, and he's been kicking real well this year as well. So right now we're really happy with both of them.
Yeah, good to know that you guys have a vet in there as well as a newcomer in Liskey, which is great for you guys. Talking about the upcoming first matchup of 2022 at home this Thursday against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. They sit in sixth place, 11-13-1 record. It's the first of back-to-back matchups you guys play against them this week. You'll play the second game against them on the road on Sunday, and the season series, it's tied 1 apiece. You guys lost the season opener to them 4-3 on September 26th, and then won the second game of the season against them at home 5-2 on November 18th. Just first off, speak about the mindset, what it's going to be like heading into the first game of 2022, trying to knock the rust off for the first game of the season on Thursday.
Yeah, the first game back is always fun to get to, especially when it's at home for us. And like I've said before on your show, our guys like playing at home, so it's always a good time. So, but yeah, that first game back, we want to just get back to what we left off with and what's been making us successful over these last couple months here that we were playing. So we've been working at practice at that last night, and as well as tomorrow we'll get back into it and just trying to get up to that game pace, because obviously taking some days off here and being with family and maybe some extra food that you don't normally eat. You got to work it off a bit. So the guys were on the ice last night, and we worked them a little bit, and they're all in for that. So we just want to make sure that transfers into our game on Thursday. And we want to keep it simple and just get back to where we want to be. And then obviously, like I keep saying all the time, is build off that. So we want to keep building towards the end of the season here and be ready to go. So it starts with that first game here on Thursday, and then as well as Sunday, but most importantly, that first game.
Yeah, got to start off the new year with a bang, right? Try to go out and get that W, something you guys will be looking to do come this Thursday. But looking at the Raiders, you guys played them only twice this season so far. Last time on November 18th. Of course, they won the season opener against you guys, so they have had some success against you guys. So what's going to be the preparation heading into that game for a team like the Raiders, the game plan heading in?
Yeah, they get a good offensive punch up line. They got some guys in their team that can make some plays and get some goals here. So like I said, our job is to make sure that we're defensively sound and that our guys are bought into that. And with that, if we have a good D zone, we should be turning it into offense, right? So if we're sound in our zone, we'll create lots of opportunities. And with our speed and size, I think that we can be a good matchup here against them on Thursday.
Of course, you've talked so much throughout this interview, and as always, about just building off of the good things that the team is doing, right? Building good habits. That, I assume, is going to be the expectation moving forward into this season, is to continue improving that way by building off of those good things.
For sure, and that's why we do those stats per month here, because it's good for the guys to visually see what we're talking about. It's easy for our coaching staff to just talk and talk and talk, whereas we can actually put the actual numbers up on the wall for them. So what we do is, each month by month we'll put up on the wall, and they can see how we are improving month by month. So that's an important piece for us, and you should be trying to build off every month or every week or every game, right? Moving forward towards the end of the season, in any season or in any sport, right? So any little way that we can show them and help them and kind of solidify what we're saying and we're feeding them, it helps them understand, holy, it is working, or that system did work, or that little switch on the power play did work. Or maybe we need to improve in a spot as well, right? So it's just good to you got to moving forward, always moving forward.
Right on, Jeff. Well, best of luck to you and the team as the season goes along here. Hoping you guys can keep up the good success you guys have had so far this year. Of course, in fourth place currently in the league. Best of luck to the team in the game coming up on Thursday night against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. Should be a good one at good old St. Vital Arena. You have a good one.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, for sure. And Happy New Year, and thanks for everything you do.
Of course, Jeff. You take care.
Yeah, you too.
Well, cut off Jeff a bit earlier there. My apologies. But yeah, Jeff Mitchell, head coach of the St. Vital Junior Victorias, joining today's edition of Coffee with Graeme. Coming up after the commercial break, we're going to throw it to some Zone 4 high school hockey coverage here on the show. And what I mean by that is I'll be interviewing one of the players from the Zone 4 High School Hockey League, Kohl Robertson, goaltender for the Morden Thunder in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League. Will be joining the show next to talk about his first season back playing hockey this year in 2021-2022, the team's success so far this season, the team's record, as well as the upcoming matchup for the team coming up here shortly for them against the Carmen Cougars to start off their 2022 season portion of the season. You're watching Coffee with Graeme on AETi Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial break.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? we can install a system that is right for you, with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Head coach of the St. Vital Junior Victorias, Jeff Mitchell, joined the show with me most recently to talk about his team's season so far, as well as talking about the expectations heading into the rest of the season and the upcoming matchup for the team against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. That game going Thursday night at St. Vital Arena. Joining the show now is going to be Kohl Robertson, goaltender, number 35 for the Morden Thunder. Kohl, how are you, man? Your mic is muted right now. I'm going to get you to unmute that. Yo, buddy. How you doing on this Tuesday morning, man? Great to have you on the show.
Pretty good. Thanks for having me here.
Of course. And, you know, what's crazy is your head coach, Ryan Morasti, told me in an interview that I had with him that's been about 4 years since you played goaltender before this year. Is that the right amount of years? It's been 4 years?
Yeah, it's been, probably just over 4 years.
That's crazy. So what made you decide to strap up the pads again and come back for another season of hockey 4 years later playing in goal?
Well, the boys on the team were asking me if I wanted to play hockey, and I thought, I'm in grade 12. It's my last year to kind of play hockey, see if I want to continue through with it if I have the opportunity. So I said, screw it, tried out for the team, and I made it. So, and I'm really enjoying the season, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, a win-win for sure. The boys wanted you to play. You stepped up. Of course, your last season of eligibility to play high school hockey. What better way to end it off than returning in the pipes, right? Talking about the preparation, how much preparation went into the season. Talk about that.
Like for tryouts or for the actual season?
For tryouts, tryouts first off.
For tryouts, I kind of just ran on the treadmill for maybe a couple weeks. And then for the season, we had a pretty intense dry land training to get ready for the season. And first few practices were pretty intense to get us back in shape, but wasn't that bad.
Yeah, for sure. Just getting back into the swing of things, getting back into shape. That's great to hear. Also, you running on the treadmill to, get in shape again a bit before tryouts hit. Talk about that, how tryouts went, what that was like competing again for a spot on the team.
Yeah, tryouts was it's kind of a rude awakening. I was pretty out of shape, so I forgot how hard it was to actually move in that equipment, but got used to it pretty well. I think tryouts went pretty well. Just getting used to the butterfly stance and everything back again, but I think it came back pretty naturally.
Nice. And it must have been awesome when you heard the news that you made the team, ended up making it after tryouts. What was that like, finding out that you were able to make this team this season?
Yeah, I was pretty excited, like 4 years back, and I made the high school team. I think that was pretty good achievement on my part. I was pretty stoked for that.
And then just talking about, getting back into that game situation, playing games for the first time in 4 years. What that was like, hitting the ice for the first time again in a game situation.
Yeah, it was a really big adrenaline rush, actually. It was pretty nice to get back out there and just almost nostalgic feeling, right?
Right. Yeah, and must have been like you said, a nostalgic feeling, being back out there on the ice, talking about your season now. The numbers: 4 wins, 3 losses, 2 overtime losses, an 8.91 save percentage, and a 3.0 .09 goals against average, top 10 in the league in save percentage at this point. Just talk about, how pleased you've been with the success in your game you've shown so far this year in your first season back in 4 years.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm okay with those stats. It's been 4 years, and I'm not doing that bad. So, there's definitely room for improvement, and I think that's coming my way. But just got to keep working at it.
It's obviously been a long time before you've played from this season since 4 years ago, right? But talking about, once you've gone back into the swing of things, once you've gotten comfortable out there, what type of game you display out there as a goaltender, just your style and all the things that come with it?
Yeah, I don't know. I just like my style.
Yeah, just your style as a goaltender out there. You're more of that stand-up guy, more of the guy that plays in the butterfly. What exactly is Kohl Robertson's style as a goaltender?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I do like going down. I feel like I have, I don't know. I almost feel like I have a little more control in the butterfly, kind of like keeping my hands out, like towards the puck. Yeah, definitely trying to get that wide butterfly stance is pretty important to me. So I do like going in the butterfly.
You've had a chance to play with another goaltender this year, Pasha. I'm not going to pronounce his last name because I don't want to butcher it. But what's that been like? Competing with a goaltender like Pasha in the pipes and the crease. Who's getting the starts night in and night out.
Yeah, I don't really think of him as a competitor. I think me and him get along pretty well. He's a very nice guy. I didn't really know him before the season, but I really like the kid. He's a great goaltender, and he came from I think it was Russia. I think he came from Russia. He never played goalie before, and I think he's only played goal for 4 years, and he's making high school hockey as well. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, for sure. Just like you said, a guy that hasn't played goalie for too long, coming from Russia and playing on the high school team in Morden with you alongside you. Talking about the team now, 8-7-2 record, 5th place in the league, 70 goals for and 48 goals against. Talking about the offense first off, just the depth that you've been able to see this team display out there from your point of view in the pipes.
Definitely speed is on our side. We are a pretty fast team once we get in the swing of things. Our first periods aren't the best, but after that, we usually get to, connect with each other and just learn each other's like movements and kind of get the chemistry going after the first period. So our offense definitely is it's pretty good once we get that going.
And of course, I'd say the strength probably of this team, just looking at the numbers, is probably the defense. 48 goals against, 4th least in the league. Talking about what it's been like for you getting to play in the games you've played with the defense that's in front of you on this year's team.
Excuse me. Yeah. So again, I think chemistry is a big thing. So we kind of try to pair each other up where we think who works well with who. So, yeah, they're pretty good at stepping up, keeping that puck down low or getting it out off the boards and passing it up to the forwards. Yeah.
This team has struggled as of late, 4-6 in the last 10 games on a 2-game losing streak. Last game of 2021, you guys blew a 3-0 lead and lost an OT to the WC Miller Aces in a tight one. Talking about, what the struggles have come down to in these last 10 games for the team, not quite getting the results you've wanted in these past 10.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just keeping our head in the game and not trying to rush anything. Once we start rushing, we start getting sloppy and then mistakes are made and consequences follow. So we're definitely trying to work on that, trying to get our endurance up so we don't make those stupid mistakes when we get tired, So, yeah, really working on those.
Of course, you guys coming out of the holiday break, the winter break here, getting back to business here pretty soon. Have you guys been able to practice since 2021 in this new year yet? What's that been like?
Yeah, we just had a practice yesterday, actually.
Right on.
A lot of skating.
Yeah, lots of skating, working off that good holiday food.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Well, you guys got a huge matchup coming up against the Carmen Cougars to start off your 2022 season. Carmen 9-3 so far this year. The hottest team in the league right now with an 8-game win streak, a team that has the exact same amount of goals for as you guys, and a team that defends very well with 37 goals against. What's going to be the mindset and preparation heading into that matchup against a team who is very hot right now in the Carmen Cougars?
Yeah, I feel like in this league, anyone can beat anyone, really. There's a lot of wins and loses on the highest teams and with the lowest teams and whatever. But I think our mindset is just going to be, anything is possible. Like, we can beat them. We know we can. We just have to work for it and keep our head in the game.
For you, as the season progresses, as you end off your final season of minor hockey in your life, playing at that high school level, what's going to be the goal for you in terms of the things that you want to continue to improve on in your game heading forward here?
I think definitely angles and keeping my hands up. When I shuffle, I do catch myself kind of dropping my glove, and I think I got to work on just keeping that up and always being ready.
Well, Kohl, right on. You continue to work on that good stuff. Continue to, have the success you've been having so far this season. Best of luck to you and your team heading forward into the latter half of the season as the season continues to progress here, starting off in 2022 with that game against the Carmen Cougars. Thanks for coming on the show today, man.
Thanks for having me.
Number 35 of the Morden Thunder, Kohl Robertson, joining the show here today, and that's absolutely crazy. 4 years out from being playing in his last season of playing as a goaltender 4 years ago until now, and this is his last season of minor hockey eligibility. He makes his high school team after 4 years and is having some pretty good success, and the numbers aren't mind-blowing. But like Kohl said, he's happy with those numbers. And, hey, he's top 10 in the league in save percentage. So you got to be pleased with that if you're a goaltender like Kohl, playing in his first season back since 4 years ago, playing in the very competitive Zone 4 high school hockey league, as many players and coaches in the league have said that before that I've had on the show. We're going to send it to one last set of commercial breaks here on this edition of Coffee with Graeme. Coming up, ending off today's edition of Coffee with Graeme with some final words here on ASTV Productions. You're watching Coffee with Graeme here on the network. Stick with me for some final words after the set of commercial breaks.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
welcome back to Coffee with Graeme, everybody. Kohl Robertson, goaltender for the Morden Thunder, number 35 in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League, joined me on the show most recently to talk about his first season being back in the pipes since 4 years ago, how the season is going from a statistical standpoint for him so far this year, as well as talking about the team season so far and the last 10 games that they've had, the struggles that they've had, looking to get back on track here in the new year, starting off with a big game for them to start off their 2022 portion of the schedule against the Carmen Cougars coming up in the Zone 4 High School Hockey League. But yeah, that's going to, this is going to mark the end of today's edition of Coffee with Graeme. I want to thank the people who joined me on today's episode, the guests in Jeff Mitchell of the St. Vital Junior Victorias, of course, him being the head coach, as well as Kohl Robertson, of course, goaltender for the Morden Thunder, number 35, as well as my main man, Cody Wall, for joining his weekly segment here on Tuesdays on Coffee with Graeme, Off the Wall with Cody. I also want to thank the sponsors of today's episode not that one. In Evolve Green, TOVI Hockey, Caisse Financial Group, Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, and AETi. I also want to thank our viewers, you, the viewer, for tuning into today's edition of Coffee with Graeme. Coffee with Graeme will be coming to you guys next on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. Going to have a lot of great guests in that episode, so stay tuned on our Instagram at ASTV Productions, as well as on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, and on our Twitter as well at Amateur Sports TV. On either Wednesday night or Thursday morning, we will be releasing the guest list, the promo for Thursday night's edition of Coffee with Graeme, all across our social media platforms across those three. So stay tuned for that if you want to know who the guest will be, or the guests will be, in that edition of Coffee with Graeme on Thursday night. Of course, you can catch that edition of Coffee with Graeme on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can watch it all across our network, on our website at astvproductions.com, on our Facebook, or on our Twitter as well. But until then, folks, I've been your host of Coffee with Graeme, Graeme Forsyth, giving you the salute, signing off on this Tuesday morning. Until I see you guys Thursday evening, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Stay safe out there, stay warm out there as well. And until Thursday night, everybody, we'll see you then. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.